When one of my students disappeared, I didn't think, well, that's freelancing. I thought, what did I do wrong? Did I talk too much? Was the lesson boring? Did they find a different tutor, a more experienced or a better tutor, someone who charged less? I could have 20 students who seemed perfectly happy, but I would lie awake thinking about the one who left or why someone didn't subscribe. If you have ever taken a client's decision as a verdict on your worth, you are my people. When I started teaching English online, I thought the difficult part would be explaining grammar. I thought I needed perfect lesson plans, better teaching techniques, and a collection of good worksheets. I was wrong. The hardest part had almost nothing to do with English. It was learning to live with uncertainty without allowing that uncertainty to destroy my confidence. Students disappear. Your calendar changes. Raising your price feels terrifying. And a platform can change one number and suddenly make you question the entire business you built. Teaching online gave me freedom. It gave me precious time with my mother. It eventually gave me the ability to move abroad and begin again in my 50s. But freedom and security are not the same thing. That is what nobody told me. Hi, I'm Marcia. I left a stable career as a technical writer with a financial institution and started teaching English online for $9 an hour. Yes, $9. I had never taught English before, and I wasn't convinced anyone would hire me, but students did. Over time, I began working with professionals from around the world: engineers, doctors, managers, teachers, and people in finance. I slowly raised my prices. I developed my own way of teaching. Eventually, this work helped me move abroad and build a life I could not have imagined when I began. I'm grateful that I did, but there are a few things I wish someone had quietly pulled me aside and told me. Okay, so the first thing nobody told me was how attached I would become to my students. These aren't anonymous customers. You learn about their careers, their families, their frustrations, and the opportunities they're working toward. You help someone prepare for an interview and then wait to hear whether they got the job. You watch a student who was once afraid to speak begin leading meetings in English, and then sometimes they disappear. Maybe they got a new job. Maybe their company stopped paying for lessons. Maybe they became busy, went on vacation, or reached the goal they had been working toward. Or maybe they decided to try another tutor. You don't always get an explanation. In the beginning, that silence was painful. I would mentally replay our final lesson and search for the moment when I had lost them. Did I talk too much? Did I correct them too often? Should I have prepared a different topic? Sometimes there is something you can learn, but sometimes a person's season with you is simply over. I'm still learning that someone can leave without it meaning that I failed them or that I'm not a good tutor. There were months when my calendar was full and I thought, finally, I've made it. Now I can relax. But a full tutoring calendar is a little like a hotel reservation. It looks occupied until everyone cancels for August. Students travel, work schedules change, families go on holiday, people pause their lessons. A calendar that looked completely healthy can suddenly develop large, frightening white spaces. Summer was a wake-up call for me particularly. I realized that freelance income can look stable right up until it isn't. And then there was the pricing. I began at $9 an hour. because I had no teaching experience, and that's what the app recommended, and was afraid nobody would choose me as a tutor. Every time I considered raising my rate, I imagined all my bookings disappearing. Who was I to charge more? What if there were hundreds or thousands of cheaper tutors who have more experience than me? What if my students left? But staying under price creates its own problems. You need more students, you work more hours, you become exhausted, and eventually possibly resentful. I had to stop thinking I was only selling 50 minutes on Zoom. I was helping people prepare for job interviews, presentations, promotions, and important conversations that affected their careers. Your value isn't only the amount of time you spend with someone, it is also the problem you help that person solve. Okay, so this was one of my biggest surprises. Many of my students do not need another explanation of English grammar. They already know a great deal of English, often from childhood. Their real problem is that their English disappears when the stakes are high. They know what they want to say until their manager asks them an unexpected question in a meeting. They understand the vocabulary until they have to present an idea to a room full of senior leaders. They can speak English until they feel judged. So my work became part language teacher, part communication coach, part confidence builder, and occasionally the calm voice someone needed before an important event. I also learned something that I wish more international professionals understood. An accent does not make you less fluent. Pausing to find a word does not erase your expertise, and confidence doesn't mean speaking perfect English. It means trusting yourself enough to continue when your English isn't perfect. Mine isn't perfect. People stay when they feel that you understand what is actually at stake for them. And I think that is true far beyond teaching. Most people don't simply want information, they want to feel understood. A teaching platform like Preply can give you an amazing opportunity. It brings students to you, it handles scheduling, marketing, processes payments, and allows you to work with professionals around the world. I am grateful for that. But the platform controls the algorithm. It can change its policies. Your profile can become more or less visible. A statistic you barely noticed yesterday can suddenly affect whether your new students find you tomorrow. The platform may call this flexibility. Your nervous system may use a different word. For a long time, I thought the answer was simply to teach more lessons. But more lessons mean more hours, and there is a limit to how many hours one person can teach without becoming exhausted. When I stop teaching, the income stops. That's freelancing. That is why I am now thinking more seriously about group classes, corporate training, maybe, coaching, digital materials, and this YouTube channel. I don't have all of those things built. I'm still figuring this out. But I finally understand that having more than one source of income isn't about greed. It is about not allowing one student, one client, or more specifically, one platform to control your entire sense of financial security. You know, for all its uncertainty, teaching online gave me something a stable corporate salary could never have given me back. It gave me more time with my mother, who was ill at the time. And at that time, I didn't know how precious those days and weeks would become. I only knew that I wanted more control over my days, and I wanted more of my life to belong to me, especially as a Gen Xer. Now, when I wonder whether leaving my career was the right decision, I think about that time. Income can be rebuilt, a career can be changed, but time with someone you love cannot be earned back later. Teaching online also helped me move abroad. It showed me that I could still create a completely different life in my 50s. But this hasn't been one of those neat transformation stories where someone takes a risk, follows her dream, and never feels frightened again. I still worry. I still take some things too personally. I still have moments when I wonder whether I've made the right decisions. I'm still learning how to hold two truths at the same time. This life can be and will be uncertain, and it can still be worth choosing and risking. Maybe you aren't teaching English. Maybe you are leaving a career, starting a business, moving somewhere new, or trying to discover who you are after the life you expected changed. If so, you are my people. This is what Finding Marcia, my new channel, is about. It isn't about having everything figured out. It is about rebuilding a life, dealing honestly with uncertainty, and refusing to believe that it's too late to begin again. So tell me in the comments, what are you trying to begin again? And if that is the kind of journey you're on, subscribe and join me here. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.